I see that the ultimate victory will be when my business can run without me there all the time.
Exactly, yeah.
It's been done before in our trade, in our industry, in other industries. There must be the solution, the key, the structure that will deliver that. And so I'm very excited to be seeing that come into play now.
All right, so welcome to the Joinery Business Podcast. I am joined by Mario and Nicole from 4 Kitchens up in Darwin. And you've also got another amazing business going on, Mario and Nicole. Maybe I'll let you talk a little bit more about that, your flat packing business.
Yep.
But what I'd love to do is I'd love to just thank you for joining me on the podcast. It's great to have you on. You've been one of our GPS members for quite a while now, and you're doing amazing things. And I think it's important that the world knows about amazing businesses in this industry more than they do now. You know, it's not often you hear out in the world about how great a business is going, right? It's usually about what people are struggling with.
Yeah.
So Mary and Nicole, maybe what I'll do is I'll just go into my little corner and I'll just be quiet and I'll let you guys kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business and where you're from and go from there.
All right, no worries. Well, firstly, again, thanks for giving us the chance to have a chat. Always open to sharing, our ideas and our experience in business, and in particular this industry. Our business is called 4 Kitchens. We started the business back in 2009, February 2nd, 2009, and started with myself and one cabinet maker, basically just doing flat pack supply only. I come from an engineering background in robotics and automation, and so I was very interested in how technology could be used to improve manufacturing processes. And at the time, one of our family-run companies was in the stone benchtop business, and we were the largest manufacturer of stone benchtops here in the Northern Territory. And there was a sudden market shift at that time, and the job started getting really big, and the local cabinet makers weren't able to keep up with the workload. And we found that a lot of our large contracts, which we would win the stone through the cabinet makers, were being sourced flat pack from down south, because the local market hadn't invested in the capacity and in their processes and systems in order to meet a sudden increase in the work volume. And for us, that was obviously problematic, because we lost a lot of revenue in large-scale projects that we would have done very well at. And so in discussions with machinery suppliers for our stone machines, namely Biesi, we spoke to them, and they said, well, look, there's a lot of specialised flat pack manufacturers setting up down south. Why don't you consider that as a business model to support the local industry? And that's what we did. We invested quite a bit of money in the latest technology. We had a twin table rover and a large edge bander with return table, and said, okay, we're going to set up and supply the local market just as a overflow supplier, cut to size fabrication for the market. And that went down like a lead balloon up here because everyone was very protective. I don't think the market was ready at the time for that concept up here. And so very quickly we found ourselves having lost a lot of contracts, having then, because we started the flat pack business, lost all of our cabinet makers, customers for stone as well.
Yep.
And as well as having a huge investment in machinery and equipment and no revenue, we had to become a full-scale supplier to the market. Again, in a strategic way, we didn't want to upset the local trade, so we said, let's focus on the areas that they weren't sort of looking after, which was the large-scale projects. So we really set up to be a supplier to, multi-res projects, large commercial jobs. And in the space of 2 years, we became the largest manufacturer up here just by focusing in that area. So we didn't do builders, we didn't do renos. It was purely multi-res buildings,
Yeah.
and large commercial projects.
That's where the market was too.
That's the market was there at the time, and it was also, like I said, a strategic decision for us not to go after the market that the local trade was already servicing, namely the house builders and the reno market. So we tried to be diplomatic, but then a few years ago there was another huge downturn as well, and the high volume market completely disappeared, and so we had to pivot and restructure our business and become Four Kitchens as we are today, which is the market leader in renovations, in house builders, and in commercial. Yeah. So we have had to adjust the business model to suit the market, but also try and focus on our core values of what we're trying to do, which we're always there from the start, which is all about integrity. If we say we're going to deliver, honesty, family, and making sure that we recognize our success and celebrate the good things that we do, whilst also looking at the continuous improvement.
What I find really, really cool about you guys is, you're in the GPS program. We know we've got a lot of husband and wife teams. Nicole, you're an equal, at the very least, let's say an equal participant in the business.
Yes.
I've got to be careful with this line a little bit here. But Nicole, I'd love to hear your take on the journey of the business. Mario, that's a really great wrap up, the journey that you've been on. Nicole, you've got a real hands-on approach in the business as well, and have an equal impact on the business. What's been your journey in the business over that period of time?
So I had a career previous to working in Four Kitchens and being part of the business. And after having my third child, I realized I couldn't go back to my career, and I'll just help out for a little bit doing accounts for kitchens. But over the few months before I transitioned into operations manager, we noticed that the team were responding to my presence quite positively. So they were coming to me with issues they were having on the factory floor, or things that they think could be improved. And I was very consistent in my approach with having meetings and following up on things. And their response to that was very positive. So we decided that I would run the factory instead of Mario. We also have two different approaches to the way we see business and do things. Mario is quite a visionary mindset, where he likes to keep growing things, and I'm more of an integrator mindset, where I would like to break it down and see how we can actually achieve these goals.
Yeah. And
being in the factory where there's multiple steps was very beneficial to have that type of mindset. So we decided that would be the roles, and it's been working quite well. I've been building up the team to have what I'd like to try and do is give them the freedom to make decisions and choices with my support on how they could best improve the business, and promote a culture that it's okay to give it a go. And if it doesn't work, let's reflect on how and what we could do next time and why it didn't.
Yeah.
And that's helped to build up the leaders around us to make the factory a lot more efficient and not so dependent on us anymore.
Yeah, one of our big pushes is to stop having information pushed up and push authority down, and that's exactly what you've embraced, and the rewards kind of come from it, don't they? Because you build this team unity where people feel safe to put up their hand and say, I want to give this a go, or even safe to put up their hand and say, I made a mistake, because they're not going to get crucified for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you touched on something a little bit, Nicole, and I'd be really interested to hear a little bit more about this. What career path were you on before those darn kids came along?
I was a primary teacher.
Wow.
Yeah. So being a primary teacher, there's a lot of behavior management that you need to do.
Yes, and patience.
Patience, and there's also a lot of organisation. So you have to be very particular and thorough with the learning journey that you would like all your students to take.
Yeah.
And that's a very similar approach to business. Where is the business? Where would we like to go? How is that journey going to look? As well as being able to manage a team of people. So my previous skills have come in handy.
Absolutely. I completely understand how you've become so successful now, because those skills are just invaluable when you're dealing with a team of cabinet makers. Mario.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yeah, it was actually quite beneficial to not be a cabinet maker or have any background, because I would ask the team a lot of questions about how things worked, and it highlighted areas that we need to improve. It highlighted areas where knowledge was lacking, and we were able to plug up those holes and try and tighten our efficiency through the factory.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, if someone can't describe what they do in simple terms, they probably don't understand what they do very well, and therefore it's probably not a great process anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. That's great. Mario, question for you.
Yep.
If you weren't running this business right now, what would you be doing in life?
I'd be running other businesses and spending time being creative in a variety of different things. So ultimately, our goal is to be a full-time investor in our businesses.
Yep.
And we've been able to achieve that with another business that we run. And so for us, over the next 12, 24 months, our role in 4 Kitchens will morph into being more of an investor, where we've empowered the team to be able to deliver on our vision and our goals and our values. Yep. And be able to carry on 4 Kitchens in that regard, while we continue to give them support and structure as they fulfill their own journey within the company. So I like the creative nature of this industry. Like I said before, I'm not a cabinet maker, I'm an engineer. So I was always really interested in how things work and how to make things. And so this particular vehicle, 4 Kitchens, in our industry, in the cabinet making industry, really gives me a lot of creative pleasure in being able to deliver incredible projects. And so being able to have a bit more time to maybe do some smaller scale things of my own with my own 2 hands, I think will be really rewarding for me personally. But at the same time, our passion is in business. And so we'll continue to grow and develop our sort of group of companies and have the same sort of approach whilst working in different industries and different fields.
It's definitely a journey, isn't it?
Yes. 100%.
And there's no end destination. If we've learned anything, we know that there is no end to this.
Look, ultimately, everyone sees things differently. And so I come from a family business background. My parents started their business when I was very young. And so we grew up watching them work hard and put, 100% of their effort in. And, my dad still today, his philosophy is that if you're not there all the time looking over it, it's all going to fall apart. Whereas as I've sort of looked at things and evolved myself in the business, I don't agree with that. I see that the ultimate victory will be when my business can run without me there all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's been done before in our trade, in our industry, in other industries. There must be the solution, the key, the structure that will deliver that. And so I'm very excited to be seeing that come into play now. We're not quite there yet, but we're very close. And so, that's really exciting for me.
Yeah, we're redefining leadership for this new generation, and in a good way, because leadership used to mean do what you're told, don't ask questions, just do the work. And of course, that crushed creativity and it crushed leadership. So,
and
I'll ask you this.
So I'll just say, because we're talking about the journey, for us, there was a point in time where we're at a critical juncture in our business journey where things weren't going well. The market was really depressed. And we had to make a decision, do we carry on and find the solution? Or do we say, you know what, we've given it a go, let's pull back gracefully and in control and find something else to focus on. And we got to the point where we had to reach out for support because we couldn't see the forest for the trees. We were that embedded in the mud of the trenches day to day that it was so hard to see what we could do in small steps that would actually make huge difference to our ultimate results. And so being able to work with business mentors, like yourself, and your team, it allows us to lean on that support, get some fresh perspective that otherwise we wouldn't have, and really stay focused on what the ultimate end goal is. And I think in our game especially, that mental stress, that mental pressure isn't always felt until it's too much and it boils over.
Until it's too late. Yeah.
That's really bad. And so for us, we're at that time, and we're lucky enough to to have that support, and that's really been the impetus for us to reflect on ourselves, who we are as individuals, as characters, what we bring to the business, but also to our own personal relationship, because working, with your wife or your husband, sometimes
it's risky.
Yeah, it is. And so for us, it's actually strengthened our personal relationship, being able to reflect on ourselves and what we do, and where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, and to understand the other person in the relationship as well.
That's nice. That's really nice to hear.
But getting that support is critical, and the more people do it, I think the better off they'll be, and our industry as a whole will get better.
Yeah, we've as you know, you're in a group of close to 40 businesses, and I think what you've kind of just described is, once we can articulate the steps that get you towards whatever goal you might have in mind, and you take, it's those little steps, those little ones that you need to take. That's often what's missing from people's vision. We all know what the end big the big goal is. We want to retire rich and we want to get to some great place in the end, but it's the little steps leading up to that I think quite often are missing. But sometimes even when those steps are created, someone actually has to take the first step and then the next step. So it's always up to you guys to do the work, and you certainly are doing that work, which is really cool to watch.
And to add to that, it's okay to not succeed the first time. And just keep trying and keep trying and keep going and keep going. There were so many systems and procedures that we thought, yep, this is the one, and within a few weeks, like, this isn't working. And to acknowledge as quickly as you can, what, this isn't working, let's reflect, let's pivot, let's figure out where we can go next. Why isn't it working? What's missing? Instead of persisting with something that we know is not working out of ego or fear or just
because that's the way we've always done it.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Couple of curly questions, maybe. Mario, when you were an 18-year-old Mario, if someone asked you what do you want to do in life, what would you have answered?
I wanted to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Cool. Nicole, same question for you. 18-year-old Nicole, back just a few years ago.
You're very kind, Bruce.
when someone asked you what do you want to do in life, what would you have answered?
It was always primary teacher. Even from 5 years old, I was lining up my dolls and trying to teach them something. I always wanted to be a teacher, and eventually become a principal of a school was my goal.
So you both are very driven. You're both very clear in what you want to do, regardless of what it is, because we know as life goes on, sometimes that changes. And next and last curly question for you. How'd you two meet?
You want the real nitty gritty, or just?
We met at uni in Sydney.
So my best friend started dating her best friend.
Yeah.
Right.
So we blame them.
Yeah.
And you were just there for moral support.
Yes.
That's awesome. Nicole, I know that you're really, really passionate about women in this industry. Do you want to talk a little bit about your place there and how you're sort of advancing that? Even with, I know in the GPS program, we've got the Women's Elevate group.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind. I would love to hear your feelings on women in the joinery industry and how we can elevate, women in particular in this industry.
Yes. Well, I think women are very valuable in any industry, really. But in the construction industry, we're quite undervalued, I feel. We do bring quite a lot. We're very organised, efficient. We're just as clever, and we're able to do what's given to us. Not just that, we also have a side where we are quite personable. So we like to talk with people, particularly our workers. We want to create a very comfortable environment, which involves a lot of questioning and listening. We also, I know personally, I like to reach out for support quite a lot, and I do through your program, and help others as well, and know that it's okay to reach out. We're all in a similar boat, which is what the Elevate group does, which is amazing. And quite recently, I received the Professional Businesswoman of the Year award at the HIA-NT, which was really, really awesome. Great. And it was great that they've got a category to recognise women in the industry. And when I was up there receiving my award, I saw a spatter of women out there, and it'd be good to see more women involved in the industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's something that we're very, very passionate about as well, because I just don't think that we need to, separate men and women the way that we have in the past. We're all very clever as people, and I think we need to approach things that way.
Yes.
If I can just add to that, it's also up to the men to consider how they've thought about work in the past can influence how women see themselves in the workplace. Because if I reflect back on Nicole's journey through the business, it's always been one of worrying that she might not be good enough to take the next step.
Yeah.
And so there's that uncertainty, that sort of lack of confidence sometimes, to just say, you know what, this is something that I'll have a go at, and I'll approach it my way, and then we'll see the results. So if we always sort of see the women in our industry as just in the back office, or just answering the phone as admin, we don't see the real value of what they do, because most men don't answer their phone and they don't return the phone call. So even if it is in just a basic admin role, the value and the support that women in those roles do bring to the business is immense. And if we can sort of build on that platform and say, let's look beyond just the basic roles and say, well, how can we, integrate women into, the larger scope of what we do, and where can we best get the value? I think that will really impact our businesses and our industry in a very
I think for good or for bad, the industry is very male dominated, and because it's male dominated, it's up to us to change the narrative. It's up to us to change the stereotype, and nobody else is going to do it, because it is male dominated. So it's up to us to be welcoming and opening to that sort of shift in thinking.
And I don't think it's something we force women to do, if they want to or they're interested, but we need to let them know that there is scope, there is an opportunity to look beyond some of the basic stuff. And for us, that's become a lot more possible because our kids are a little bit older and they're not as dependent on their mother for that care and support. Also for me, changing my role and being more flexible in what I do to be able to cover some early morning starts or pickups and drop-offs or doctor's appointments and all that sort of stuff. So it's about flexibility and reconsidering the balance.
Yeah, I think it's also about keeping a healthy approach to things. We talk about physical well-being, but there's also a mental well-being, and we're very, very passionate about mental health. And I know you guys have just recently had a mental health escape, and I'm just really, really happy to see any of our members do that, because it has such a positive impact. You want to talk a little bit about what the escape that you've just had and how it's affecting you right now as you're approaching your business re-entering?
Yeah, we were off to Greece for a month with the children, and that was a really nice time away. We got to spend time with the children in a very closed environment for a long period of time, which had its challenges, but it was really great. And it wasn't until probably a week in that we were able to start de-stressing, and we didn't.
That's when the exhale happens, right? You finally
Absolutely.
go, That's why you need 4 weeks away, right? Because the first week is waiting for that. 2 weeks of holidays, and then the last week is always about getting worried about having to return. So.
Yes. Well, I have to say the last week I wasn't too worried. The team was still updating me here and there, and I have a lot of confidence in my team. We've been building them for a good year and a half now. And in particular ways, we'd like things reported. So we were able to still keep an eye on how things were running. We didn't realize how much stress we actually were holding until we went on our holiday. And we've come back feeling a lot more refreshed and refocused. And we did spend a little time discussing a few things here and there in a relaxed environment. And we have a bit of a pivot and on how we want to do things now, and a bit of a clearer picture now that we've come back, left the team for a month. We've been able to see what they're capable of doing, and they were capable of a lot. A few things popped up and they said, this popped up, this is what we did, this is how we approached it, and we solved it, and it was amazing. So yeah.
And ultimately, the way they dealt with the problem may not have been the same exact way that I would have done it or that Nicole would have done it. But the outcome is the same. And so now they've learned a process that delivers, you know, the right result. And so, you know, they're more confident to carry on. So we said in our first meeting back where we run our strategic meetings, we said, all right, the next one's going to be 6 months off. So give them a bit of warning.
It's all, you gauge the length of time you can be away by the number of questions being asked while you're away, right? So, if you weren't asked a lot of questions while you're away, you can be away longer.
And look, on that, we, you know, on purpose, pretty much by design, we limited our work contact. So I think I fired up the laptop maybe once or twice just to check on some heavy download emails. The rest of the stuff was just the daily things, and it was really quite trivial, to be honest. So it's certainly very worthwhile being able to get away and just have that time to let it go a bit and clear the mind and come back again.
This is why we run a business, right? Is to be able to do things like this and be able to do them maybe more often than you could if you were an employee. That's the benefit. That's the payback of the hard work, the risk, all the stuff that you put in. This is what it's for, and you need to get more of it, essentially. And
it also teaches you what you can do to maybe not be there as often. So we know now we can design our life around not being full-time at work. And we can perform various roles within the business remotely if we choose, or we can do them physically in place. But that's an option open to us now because we've done it for a short period of time. We've seen what works, what doesn't work. We've seen the reporting that we need and that the team need. And so that really is it was an educational time for us as well.
Guys, so often, I mean, as you know, I have lots of conversations with people in this industry, and so often I hear, oh, you can't do that with the joinery business. I have to be here to manage people the whole time, otherwise the business will collapse. It's just the mindset that the industry convinces itself that it's true because so many people don't do it. But you're another one of these great examples that have actually done it just simply because you set out to say, well, this is what we want to do, therefore this is what we're going to do. And it's totally achievable if that's what you want.
And while we were away, sorry, I'll just say, our 3 CNC edge band operators all left. Our most senior technical guy was away on long service leave and still is. We onboarded 2 new CNC operators, new admin support person. We transitioned one of our detailing draftsmen into an operations support role. All of this happened while we were away overseas. And so that's testament to how spending the time thinking and designing and trying things out in your structure, in your people, in your recruitment processes, all the things that we work on through the program with you, Bruce, actually when you implement, helps you incredibly. And this isn't an overnight thing. This has taken a number of years to get to where we are, but it shows how if you put in the work,
Mm.
you can actually get some incredible
Yeah.
results.
Yeah, and
And
you certainly
back to that as well with we've had a particular vision that we wanted for our business.
Yeah.
And we have included our leadership team in every step of the way
Yeah.
of how and where we'd like that to go, and had their input as well on how we can get there too. And we're very consistent with our meeting rhythms. And so the language that we're using, our leaders are also using. The vision that we have, our leaders have. So one of our positions that were awarded while we were away, our factory foreman interviewed him and spoke to us and said, you know, this is my feeling, this is what I think, and we went with it, because we know that over the 2 or 3 years now that we've been trying to build our team and include them in our vision, they are thinking about the long-term journey that we are on and where we'd like to go, and they are using the same language we're using, and they know that team culture is very important for us. We want everybody to get along, and one of the questions that one of the things that he was saying is he'll fit well with our team, and that is very important.
Yeah.
So we have a team that enjoy being with each other. We've got a great team culture, and all our leaders are on board with us with the vision that we are wanting for our company. So
it is interesting, because broadly there seems to be this misconception that a business is something over here,
yes,
almost like some inanimate object that we're going to create.
Yeah.
And your team is over here doing something. And this misconception that somehow we have to unify the two.
Yes.
But in actual fact, your team is your business.
Yes.
There isn't anything else. There's no inanimate object that is your business that you can do something with.
Yes.
Your business actually is your team and your people.
Absolutely.
And
it
we
was a
always,
journey. Yeah, it was a journey, because, you know, they also had to see their importance in our business. We're not just that they're not just the ones that come up and screw boxes together or, you know, tell other people what to do. They're actually an integral part of our business. And they had to do a mind shift as well, that, you know, there are some things that we would like you to implement to help our business as a leader in the business. And there are things we'll support you to do. And we want your input on certain things as well that will help elevate our business. So it was a mind shift on their part too, which took a little while as well.
Yeah.
But we're there now. So we're very pleased.
So I'd love to hear over the last, what's it been, about 18 months now, there's been some very significant, let's say, steps forward. Could you, Mary, I'll ask you separately, and Nicole, you separately as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to do this in a closed room so you couldn't hear what each other's answers are. Mario, what would you say are the three major things that you've implemented in the business as a result of let's say the GPS program or anything external to that? What would you say those three significant things would be over the last 18 months?
So being quite specific, implementing JobMan as the software program to support our entire business from front end to back end has been a game changer for us. And we wouldn't have been able to do that without your support, in particular with Hamish.
Yes.
And we continue to pester him about it.
He's there for you to use and abuse.
Yeah, and we do. And that's really important, is if you're going to be part of the program, utilize the support networks. The next really important thing, again, with Hamish, is looking at the Lean program and the 3F program, which I don't get involved in much personally. That's definitely being driven through the shop floor, which is where it should be driven in terms of getting that efficiency and organization working. And that's an ongoing thing, and that's still going to deliver more and more benefit as we go. And then lastly is the work that we each do with Linda as our sort of leadership side of things, because you don't realize how you act and behave influences those around you.
Yes.
Whether that's your customers, whether that's your team, whether that's your family. And so working with Linda on looking at how we can, work better in that regard to deliver the results we want has been a game changer. And something as simple as, her support with the recruitment process.
Yes.
Again, game changer for us. Something as simple as designing our onboarding process has completely de-stressed the initial training of a new hire. It's given so much certainty, for us and for the new person coming on board. And it's just, those little things that, when you say it, maybe don't sound that sort of, beneficial are just game changers for us.
From the other person's perspective, it's game changing.
It is, 100%. So those three things for me are huge.
Big ticket. Cool. Thanks, Mario. Nicole, what would you give now that you might have taken your thunder away?
It's slightly, but that's okay. I've got some others as well. There's so many benefits from being part of the GPS program. So Linda's been a really great support for me and for my leadership team. So she's worked a lot on our confidence and how we see ourselves and getting out of that comfort zone and giving things a go.
Yeah.
And that can be quite hard to do, but she's been very great support in that, in doing that, and talking us through and giving us strategies on how to best deal when situations pop up that we're not so sure how to deal with. The Elevate group that she has started has been really beneficial for me personally, because I can see that there are other women in their businesses that are facing the same things I am, or I have faced them and I can help them, or vice versa. And that's been really good in helping to build the team culture that I was wanting to achieve. So that was really great. And with Hamish, the standardizing of things. So now we finally have the same workbenches. Everyone has the same workbench, which you'll be so happy to hear now, which helps with those few seconds, 1 minute here and there, improving by that 1%. And we also have a lot of training videos, which he encouraged us to do. And now we've got a QR code. And if they're not sure how to do something in particular, they just scan the QR code, find the video, and off they go. And that's so cool. Yeah.
That's really awesome. So question for both of you, maybe we could get a combined answer on this one. There's going to be some people listening to this or watching this podcast that haven't ever enjoyed the luxury of joining any kind of a training program or coaching program or anything like that, because they've been convincing themselves, oh, that's a lot of BS. I don't need anybody telling me what to do. I've been in business for 30, that sort of. What would you tell, and this isn't our program sales pitch. This is just what would you say to people in the industry that have not engaged in their own professional development in business? I mean, we all know we can become great cabinet makers, right? But a lot of people never engage in professional development in business. What would you say to them around, maybe it's time?
Well, if I go first, from my perspective, the greatest minds in the world always had a mentor. They were never isolated. They would always have someone that they could reach out to toss some ideas about. So it doesn't diminish you to have support. It helps you. You're not lesser because you have someone that you can contact and say, hey, I've got this issue, what can I do? Or what do you think about this idea? I want to run it past you. If you're working in a more formal program like we are with yourself, Bruce, and your team, it gives you that structure and that accountability to keep delivering on the small steps you need to take day by day to get to your fundamental goal. Now, we tend to get excited. We have a big idea and we get excited and we go hell for leather for 5 minutes, and then it's like, it's like a diet or any type of gym membership, right? You start off really excited and whatever. So you tend to overestimate in your life what you can achieve in the short term, but then underestimate what you can achieve in the long term.
Right.
So working in a structured program like the Joinery Coach, it gives you that structure and that support to keep doing those little things step by step and day by day that initially you might think, oh, are we getting anywhere? But after a week and a month and a year and 2 years and 5 years, suddenly your life is transformed. And that's what we've seen. We've been on this journey overall for nearly 4 years, working with a previous mentor and then with yourself. And we've seen that change. And it comes about almost like a tidal wave. You start off slow and there's a few ripples in the water, and then there's this surge that you just keep riding that wave and getting the improvement. So that's my perspective.
Yeah, that's mine. That'll be mine as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone knows everything, and that's okay not to know everything. And there are experts in all fields, and you're an expert in your own field yourself, and others are experts in their own field. And it's best to reach out, like Mario said, float some ideas, get some advice, and you might hear that one little gold nugget and go, yes, that's really great. And then you implement that, it has a huge effect. Yeah.
And the thing that attracted us to your program specifically, Bruce, is that it's tailored to joinery businesses.
Yes.
And so there's the things that go on within our factories, within our sales showrooms, within the day-to-day of our industry that are very different to other industries. And so working with a team that intimately understands that has been a big improvement for us. And it's something that, we value highly. And ultimately, the cost that is incurred isn't a cost, it's an investment. We see our work with you as an investment in our company and in our future, because we know that we do the work and we get the outcome, and our end goal is that bit closer every day. So,
yeah. Well, that's really good to hear, because that's how we like people to view it too, as an investment, not a cost.
It's a cost if you don't do anything with it.
Well, it's like joining a gym, like you said.
If we didn't do anything, it would be a cost. It would just hang there and drag our bottom line down. But because we work with you and we do the work, we're not perfect. There's days where we don't do it, all right? And there's weeks where we're like, I can't, I've got other things I need to focus
Priorities,
on. And that's fine. It's that consistency of then picking it back up and re-implementing and including the team, because when personally we're thinking of other things, the team is there and they're doing it and they're following through and delivering the results. It makes a huge difference.
So should we have a quick chat about your newest venture?
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about it, the name of the new business, how people can see it and learn more about it? Because this is what I really get excited about as well.
So for us, we've started an online kitchen design and flat packing company called Cabinets Express, and it's really coming full circle for our business, because we started as a dedicated trade flat pack supplier. Our goal was not to get involved in face-to-face consultations and designing kitchens. It was all about delivering where we saw the industry had a weakness, and that is the black box of the factory. Because ultimately in our industry, where you add value is in the face-to-face you have with your client, and in the install and delivery of that promise you make in that face-to-face. And so what happens in between to the client is an unknown. Ultimately, they don't care. And what they want is that they can trust that you will deliver what you promise and that you actually deliver on that. And so being able to now use, our years of experience in manufacturing, and to have an online portal that offers a free full 3D design software that allows you to visualize in colors and materials live, that updates costings live, that is very transparent and gives you flexibility to design the kitchen for your client, or bathroom, or whatever, wardrobe, whatever it is, your piece of joinery, to design that, show your customer live how it's going to look, transparent pricing, 3D and 2D drawings live. It's just a game changer. And then being able to link that now with the software solutions and machinery solutions that are available through our workshop, we can take that design and within 10 to 15 minutes have it cutting on our CNC machinery is a game changer. And so we're very excited about it. cabinetsexpress.com.au is the URL. It's free to use. We're also putting together a how should I say it, like a support package. So we're able to sit with you for the first 5 designs, walk you through how to use the program, how it works, do that live over Zoom with you so that you're not just playing around and working off a training video, but actually having a live consultation, all free of charge. And then ultimately you will have the confidence to use the program. Again, the program is free to use. So if you have your own existing facility, you may want to use our software to visualize a design quickly with your client, and there's no obligation to purchase. But for those people who are struggling with their factories or don't have the staff and want to dedicate it to the real value add, which is...
Or they might even want to increase their capacity by outsourcing a little bit.
Capacity. There's a lot of things, you've got guys who are just starting out and don't have the money or the facility to invest in machinery, etc. Our goal is to help the industry. We see that there's always been a disconnect between the software, the hardware, the machinery, the client.
It's all hardware, isn't it?
It's very hard to do. And, we've struggled in our business. So we've been through 4 different software packages. We would have spent close to $300,000 or $400,000 on software over the years, plus upgrading computers to take the latest versions and then, training and ongoing training for our staff. It's been a huge investment for us. And so we want to take all that we have learned and provide a solution to the industry that helps plug some holes for some people. We might become a preferred, supplier to others. But ultimately, the initial software is free to use. There's no obligation to buy. Those who want to integrate further, we have a partner program that allows us to fully customize the website with your logos and the way you want to construct your cabinets. We'll develop a custom library for you. So when you go to your customer, you will present yourself as a full professional company that you build trust and rapport. You can do the designs live. You can update the costings with your own costs, your own allowances for delivery, installation, etc., as well as having confirmed timelines for which we will be able to deliver.
Yeah, and it's all white label too, right?
That's right. So those who want to join us on the partner program, it would all be white label, and there'll be costing benefits, pricing benefits. Yeah. Those who want to use the program for free, it's all available at cabinetsexpress.com.au. It'll just be when you sit with your client, it will be showing the Cabinets Express logos and library, and it will also show the pricing based on a one-off job. Those who are in the partner program will see cost benefits, and regardless, we want to offer to anyone who might be interested that 5 sessions where we walk you through how to use the program. That's free to anyone who wants to participate, because ultimately we see this as a tool of improving the industry. Whether you use us or not, that's up to you. The service is there. We supply Australia-wide. We have transport networks to every town and city. We offer stone as well as laminate bench tops, appliances, accessories, sinks and taps. So it's a full package. And it's something that we're really excited about, and we'll be developing that over time.
Well, look, we're super excited too. And as you know, you're part of our marketing agency, and it's a limited agency. We can't offer many places for that many people because we're a small agency. I would say boutique and very specialized. Your passion for this whole concept, Mario, came through early on. And when you have that much passion and you're able to articulate that passion into a vision that says something, then we have something to market. But some people that enter a marketing agency expect the marketing agency to create that for them.
Yeah.
And then it never really works out very well. So I'm really, really excited about where this is going to go, because like I say, that vision and that passion is going to be able to come through very clearly. And it comes from a very honest place too. Because you have choices. You've already got very successful businesses. It's not, you're not looking at getting rich overnight. Those days are gone. Right now, we're doing what we want to do based on what we're passionate about.
100%.
Yeah, so that's really, really cool to see. And I guess the one thing I want to do is congratulate you guys both for being having the courage to pursue your passions and having the courage to pursue your dreams. Because everybody has choices in life, and we could go the easy road. Sometimes you choose the hard road because it's the right one.
Yes.
Guys, I want to thank you for taking the time with us. This has been really interesting. I've learned just a little bit more about you guys now in this call. And again, congratulations on your journey. And I'm hopefully in another year we can do another podcast, and there'll be another whole raft of new conversations we're gonna add to the table.
For sure, anytime. And
maybe from a Greek island.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Or we could go to Bali, where our agency team is.
That's right. It could be Bali's close to us. It's not far.
Yeah, that'd be even better.
Away, so
yeah.
But look, Bruce, we're very open with discussing our ideas and our experience. So, if there's anyone who's listening to this who has a question or wants to reach out, we're very comfortable in talking about our journey and what we've learned. We wouldn't have been able to get to where we are without the help of other people, and that's appeared over the years in many different forms. And so if there's anyone who wants to pick apart some of the stuff that we've said more, feel free to reach out. They can email us at info@cabinetsexpress.com.au, or personally for me, mario@4kitchens.com.au. And happy to have a chat and see if there's something that we can help them with. Otherwise, I really do highly encourage everybody in our industry to look up yourself, Bruce, at the Joinery Coach, and look at the various things, because you put a lot of information out free of charge. I'm surprised at how much you talk about that is there out in the open, and then people can get a huge amount of value for free just by listening to that stuff. But certainly we've seen a huge amount of benefit working with you, and we'd like to thank you and the team for that, because we couldn't have been able to get to where we are without that support. So I highly encourage everyone to have a chat with you and see if you can help them in their journey as well.
Yeah, well, it's been absolutely enjoyable so far, for sure. I mean, it's a collaborative effort, right? So if one party isn't collaborating, the other party can't. It's just as simple as that. So the two businesses you got, just to make sure that we're really clear, you've got cabinetsexpress.com.au, and you've got forkitchens.com.au as well.
Right, yeah.
Two
different.
Kitchens
is spelled the number 4 and kitchens.com.au. Yeah.
Excellent. Guys, thanks for doing this. I know you've got to get busy from your time away. You got to get back to work.
Thanks for having us, Bruce.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's been a great catch up, and congratulations on the good work, and all the best. Whatever we're going to see in the future, I'm sure it's just going to be more of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.